Car transport is one of the industries where getting ripped off has somehow become completely normalized. Selling a car through consignments sounds easy. Somebody else handles the advertising, the paperwork, the buyer, and the transportation. And shipping a car across the country sounds just as simple until you actually try to do it. Suddenly you're being told to book a month in advance, prices change, pickup dates are vague, and nobody can tell you exactly when your car is actually going to move. And then you get into the broker system. The broker takes your money, posts the shipment, and starts looking for a truck driver willing to take the job. But here's the problem. The driver ultimately decides whether they can actually take the load. They aren't necessarily working for the broker, and the broker can't simply order a truck to show up so a consumer can pay for a service that actually hasn't been secured. I experienced this firsthand with the $12,000 consignment. The entire point of the consignment is that you're trusting a dealership to provide a stable place to sell your vehicle. You hand over the car expecting them to advertise it, show it to potential buyers, and complete the sale under the agreement you made. And I'm a pretty busy man, so I was expecting that service to do what it was advertised to do. Instead, the dealership suddenly decided to stop offering consignment services, and now I'm left with a $12,000 vehicle that was supposed to be part forward of a straightforward sales arrangement, except the dealership's decision effectively pulled the rug out from underneath the entire deal. What was supposed to be a simple process suddenly became my problem again. Finding another place, figuring out transportation, dealing with additional costs, and trying to recover from a decision that I absolutely had no control over. That's the fundamental problem with this industry. The consumer is expected to absorb the consequence when somebody else changes their mind. Then you have shady customers, shady brokers, last minute price increases, deposits, cancellation, and endless excuses about why your car can't be picked up when promised. The crazy part is that we treat this like a normal industry. Imagine ordering almost anything else and being told, we'll take your money now, and then we'll see if somebody feels like delivering it. Amazon would be fucking broke if they did that shit and litigated with so much small court claims that they would never have gotten to become the top 7 Mag 7 businesses that did this. And where is the Amazon for car delivery? There's no such service. Even if you try with some of the big three car brokers that are owning their own trucks and have all the employees to do this and that, and even though they're far more expensive, they are so much more far trustworthy for the fact they own their trucks. And the fact of the matter is 90% of the time, unless you're moving an entire fleet of vehicles, they are not going to show up. And car transport shouldn't be that complicated. The consumer shouldn't be paying for a chain of middlemen negotiating with independent drivers while everyone pretends the original delivery agreement is guaranteed. It's not that every broker, dealership, or driver is a scammer, it's that the system is structured in a way where the consumer takes the most risk while everyone else gets to pass the responsibility down the chain. And somehow that's considered doing business. The first time I ever tried a car movement company, which mind you was not for a bad rate, it was about $2 for one car. So let's say you had 6 cars and you were already heading in that direction. All you had to do was load up one more car at the end of your car trailer that can fit 6 to 8, and you would get the extra $400 to move the extra 200 miles in the right direction that you were already going through. Mind you, that had I been more patient, I probably would have just moved it through AAA with their maximum program because it would have been cheaper to do that than any of these carport transport industries. So not only did I pay an outright fee for the entire deposit of moving this car in the first place, at $100 was the deposit. If I would have been patient, I could have extended probably 29 extra dollars, gotten AAA, and still had three tows left over for the end of the year. And that was within the same state range. So trying to move the vehicle anywhere that's not in the same state or even in the same city or zip code, it's an absolute fucking nightmare with how the current agreement is set up. And so you're just left with this whole situation of nobody wants to deal with your car. Even if they can get paid thousands to finish up the project and take the consignment, nobody actually wants to do the work, even if they're being paid for it. And unless you're a real good negotiator and salesperson, frankly, you just kind of have to leave the price guaranteed and don't let anybody lowball you even on Facebook, because none of the actual dealers want to do their job, and for it to be worth your time, you have to show up, make sure that they actually want it. And frankly, a lot of these people are still going to be tire kickers. They're still going to toy with every small issue, even if they're completely joking and don't know that it's wrong or not. And some Facebook buyers have gotten so good at this that they'll actually pop in an OBCD scanner. They won't fully plug it in, but they'll make it look like it is. And then they'll show problems from a different car that they recently had looked at or did on, and show all those problems popping up, even though it's not on your car. And for some reason, this is just completely normalized with the car market at the moment, and don't know why, but that's just how doing business is with vehicles these days. And going to a new dealership these days is a total scam. Anyone buying a new $60,000 car knowing full well that it's going to depreciate $30,000 in 3 years, they're an idiot. They deserve to lose it. But when you're working with classic vehicles or even something that's, meticulously maintained and older, the value is going to hold. It's just that simple. And that's been this podcast for the day.